Hello crochet friends, in today's video I'm going to show you how to make a crochet bag with outside pockets. I think it would look also super cute if the whole bag was made in one color with two pockets in the front, but I didn't have enough yarn for that, so I went with this version instead. Feel free to get creative with yours and let's get started. Make a slip knot and then chain until it's a little shorter than the width you want your bag to be. In my case, I chained 25, which is about 19 centimeters, around 7.5 inches, but feel free to make whatever size works best for you. Now I'm going to loosen the loop on my hook a little at the end to make it easier to start a new row, and then I will do one half double crochet in each stitch. You should always have the same number of stitches you started with. I started with 25, so I will have 25 in each row as well. For the next rows, you're going to repeat everything again until your bag reaches the height you want. So loosen the loop a bit at the end, turn your work, and make a half double crochet in each stitch. I made 11 rows, which is about 13 centimeters, around 5.1 inches, and after you crochet your first panel, you need to make a second one following exactly the same steps. This will be the front and back of the bag. From now on, I'm going to use white yarn since I ran out of the other color. I'm trying to use up the yarn I already have at home because, let's be honest, it's way too tempting to buy new colors every time we go shopping. So anyway, make a magic ring and then chain one to secure the yarn. And now make 3 double crochet. Chain one and make another 3 double crochet. chain 1 and 3 double crochet again. And one last time, chain 1 and 3 double crochet. Pull the yarn to close the magic ring, and then chain 1 and slip stitch on the first double crochet we did. Chain 2, and this is gonna count as our first double crochet. Now make 1 double crochet on each of the next 2 stitches. You should have 4 holes like this on each corner, so every time you reach one, you will do 2 double crochet, chain 1, and then 2 more double crochets into that hole. Now we need to make 1 double crochet on top of each stitch until we reach the next hole. So it's gonna be 3 double crochets. Once again, every time we reach a hole, we're gonna do 2 double crochet, chain 1 and 2 more double crochet on that same hole. And it's always like this. You're going to make 1 double crochet on each stitch until you reach a hole, and then on the hole you repeat the 2 double crochets, 1 chain and 2 double crochets on the same hole. Now to close the square, you're going to make 1 slip stitch on the first double crochet we did. Chain 2, and this is gonna count as our first double crochet. And it's always the same pattern for every row, 1 double crochet in each stitch until you reach a hole. The holes are on the corners. And then in the hole make 2 double crochets, 1 chain and 2 double crochets on that same hole. This is gonna be my last row because that's the ideal pocket size for my bag. I will show you in a few seconds once I finish this square, but if you want a bigger pocket, you just need to continue making rows the same way we're doing this one. There are still 2 stitches left at the end, so I'm going to do a double crochet in each one. And I'm gonna close the square with a slip stitch on the first double crochet we did. This is how this pocket size looks on my bag. You can make yours bigger or shorter. To make it bigger, just chain 2 and create another row the same way as the last row I did. Once your pocket reaches your desired size, we're going to add a border to give the pocket more space inside. For this, we will work with the 2 back loops I'm showing on the screen instead of the 2 front loops. Chain 2 and make 1 double crochet in the back loop only of each stitch until you reach the opposite side. The stitches on the left side will be different, but until you get there, make double crochets in the back loops only. So here I've reached the last side, and on this side we're going to make slip stitches only. This will be the side where you will put your hand in a pocket, so the border here needs to be smaller compared to the other sides. Once you finish the last side, there will be some stitches left on the first side we worked on, so make double crochets in those stitches. You can now close with a slip stitch and fasten off. Now you're going to place the pocket on the bag to see how many stitches the flap will need. I'm placing my hook there as if it were a stitch marker. Once you decide where the flap starts and ends, you will insert your hook at the end. Unless you're left-handed, then it might be easier to start from the other side, I'm not sure. Chain 2 and make a double crochet in each stitch until you reach the other end of the flap. The flap is still short, so let's add more rows. For that, chain 2, turn your work, and make a double crochet in each stitch. You can make as many rows as you want your flap to have. I like this size, so I'm going to fasten off. Now comes the most complicated part of the whole tutorial, which is sewing the pocket into the bag without it getting uneven. I don't know how to sew, so don't worry if you don't either. I will show you how I do it. The hardest part is really making sure it stays straight. Mine ended up a little off, but I just left it like that. I inserted my tapestry needle from the back and then inserted it from the front and tied a knot at the back to secure the first stitch. And now I'm going to insert the needle from the back through the pocket and then from the front just near the pocket. So from the back, insert it through the pocket, and then from the front, just near the pocket. This is how I sew and it works, but obviously if you have a better technique, feel free to use it. The most important thing here is to keep checking if the pocket is staying straight, and down at the bottom I sewed it leaving 1 row of distance from the edge of the bag. Just because the flap also has a row of distance from the top of the bag. Once you've sewn your 3 sides, because don't forget you can sew the side where you're supposed to insert your hand and things, just weave in your yarn to make it secure. Now for the straps and to close the bag, start by measuring your bag this way. I used a piece of yarn to outline these 3 sides and then measured it with my measuring tape. Now the size of the strap you will make depends on whether or not you're using D-rings. If you're not using, just add the measurement of your bag that I just explained, plus how long you want your strap to be. A good idea is to measure a strap from a bag you already like. Then you will make a strap that's that length. If you're using D-rings, then you will make 2 straps. One with the measurement we just took plus 10 centimeters and the other one with at least 100 centimeters long. This way the strap will be like mine, so you can use it short or long. To make the straps, we're going to repeat the same steps we did for the back panels. I chained 5 because that's the width I want my strap and bag to have, and I'm going to make half double crochets back and forth until it reaches the length we calculated. Now if you're not using the rings, you're going to use your long and only strap. If you're using the rings, you will use your short strap for this step. Fold both the back panel and the strap in half to find the middle of each, and then hold those stitches together with a stitch marker. Now that you know where the middle is, also mark the 4 corners with stitch markers. It should look like this, and now you're going to place your hook in one of the corners and make a border of single crochets all around. If you're using the small strap, make single crochets around the end to reach the other side. But if you're using the long strap, you can just fasten off and insert your hook on the other side, so we can attach the other panel exactly the same way we did with this one. I'm going to hold everything together with stitch markers again to make it easier to do the single crochets in the right stitches. And now you just need to repeat exactly what we did on the other side. If you have the long strap, you can fasten off and weave in your ends. Just don't weave in one of the ends at the end of the strap because we will use it to sew the two together. If you have the short strap, once again make single crochets around that end, and then you can also fasten off and weave in the ends. Now I'm going to place the D-rings. I'm just going to place them in the middle of the extra strap and use a tapestry needle and yarn to tie a simple knot to secure them. Now I'm going to insert the long strap on the D-rings. I'm going to use one of the yarn ends of the strap to sew them together. Once again, I don't really know how to sew properly. I just place my needle back and forth until it feels secure, so I'm not really comfortable teaching you a proper way to do it. I just go with the flow the way I'm showing on the screen. And finally, I wanted to add something to close the bag more securely, so I decided to make a kind of strap that closes with a button. For that, I did exactly what we did for the pocket flap. I inserted my hook into one of the corners where I wanted the strap to be, but this time I made 2 double crochets in each stitch. Every time you want to create a new row, you can chain 2 and this will count as our first double crochet. If you're using a small button, you don't really need to make extra space for it because the double crochets already leave a gap between them. But since my button is big, I decided to chain 2 instead of making 2 double crochets in one of the rows where I wanted the button to be, so it would have more space. In the last row, instead of making a regular double crochet in each stitch, I'm going to make only the first half of each double crochet and then join the 8 stitches together to create a more interesting finish for the strap. I hope you liked this tutorial. I'm not really used to making bags, but a lovely subscriber requested this, so I tried my best. I hope you enjoyed it, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye!